And good evening. Welcome, everybody, to Talk Wrestling here on the NoDQ.com YouTube channel and, of course, the Jeff Meacham Network and across our social medias. I am, of course, the West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham, joining you from a Staples Center backdrop because it's my home away from home. Well, excuse me, the Crypt, soon to be the Crypto.com Arena. What a stupid name. Anyway, I love the Staples Center, but good Lord, what a horrible name change. Anyway, so we got a lot to talk about today. That you saw the graphic there on the overlay, and we're just going to get right into it. I'm not going to waste anybody's time tonight. Let's just talk about what I want to talk about first of all, and that was grading the recent pay-per-views that have been broadcast across the different platforms. Of course, BR Live, the WW Network / Peacock, and even over on Impact Plus. We had the Survivor Series, we had AEW Full Gear, and we had Impact Wrestling. God, I'm so trained to say the wrong word still. Turning Point. Great shows across the board from all three brands. I was thoroughly impressed with everybody's pay-per-views over the course of November. It was so good. Just very exciting to watch those shows as a fan. I expected Full Gear to be a great show. It was. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind it was going to be a great show from start to finish, as it AEW always tends to deliver on pay-per-view. They are currently setting the standard for my fan money. You had a great buy-in match with the ladies of AEW, Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa over Jamie Hayter and Nyla Rose. Went almost 13 minutes. That's a great buy-in match. When you have a match on a pre-show that goes that long, and it's four quality athletes and the always influencing Vicky Guerrero at ringside, just a great start. And MJF and Darby start the pay-per-view. What an unbelievable 22 minutes they went. We talked all about MJF over this last week with the promo battle with CM Punk, and it was just really something to see. Between those two guys in the ring, MJF and Darby Allin, and then, of course, Punk and MJF on Dynamite this last week. And there is a question about that in the chat room. I will get to it at the end, Jay, as I said, as it says there, I should say. So MJF and Darby, Lucha Brothers and FTR, again, two of the best tag teams on the planet in any wrestling company, going almost 19 minutes in a what was a tag team title match. You had FTR, who are the AAA tag team champions as of now. They kind of stole the titles in Mexico. The Lucha Brothers, Penta and Phoenix, you've got them. They are the AEW tag team champions, and they reign supreme. You've got Danielson and Miro. Oh my God, over 20 minutes, and they did exactly what I thought they do. They would steal. They stole the show. Just a tremendous match between two people that, again, WWE just did not utilize to their full capacity by any means. The match I expected to kind of be, I guess, like a sleeper, or not a sleeper, but more of like an okay match. It really impressed me. They went 23 minutes. Christian Cage and the Jurassic Express over the Super Click. A little barbaric. Wasn't a fan of the thumbtacks in the mouth spot. That was kind of gross. I mean, I understand we're coming out of this pandemic, even with this, this new variant that they're talking about on the news, but man, just terrible. Having thumbtacks going a guy's mouth and then you super kick him, just disgusting. Bootleg Joe with a super chat. Thank you, $5. I appreciate that, Joe. I'm glad you popped in on Aaron's recap. I hope he saw that I was mentioning you were the gentleman that ran into us at the forum back in, what was that, 2016, 2017? God, it feels like forever ago. He says, "You the man, Jeff. Keep up the awesome work." I appreciate that, Joe. Your support has meant a lot since my reemergence, if you will, almost 2 years ago now. We're coming up on the anniversary here at the end of the year, so that'll be cool to have everybody along for that ride. Cody and Pac against Malachi and Andrade. It was what it was. I'm surprised the babyfaces won, if you want to call them babyfaces. Britt and Ty Conti just did amazing things as a women's championship match. Punk and Eddie Kingston, again, I said my piece a lot about Eddie Kingston over the last month or so, but he really impressed me. I find out now he's hurt. It sucks that, he got the momentum behind him and now he's dealing with an injury. And then you got, of course, Hangman Page fulfilling his destiny, becoming the AEW World Champion. And now we've got, Danielson seemingly turning heel. We don't know. We don't know where that's going to go, but interesting Interesting to see where that's going to play out here in the coming weeks as we go into winter is coming and whatever their spring pay-per-view is, Revolution, I suppose. But then, Impact the following weekend. You've got Finn Juice and the Bullet Club on not the Bullet Club, I'm sorry. That's not the correct terminology. Finn Juice against Raj Singh and Rohit Raju. Apologies for the butchering of the names there. I did see the match. I'm just blanking on the name pronunciation. Great pre-show match. Jordan Grace and Chelsea Green. Man, oh man. Again, I really crapped on the digital media championship concept. I'm a believer. Much like Orange Cassidy, a believer on the Jericho Cruise. I'm a believer in this digital media thing because it can be competed for anybody, by anybody, on any digital platform Impact Wrestling has. So it's a great short little match there. Sabin and Ace Austin. I mean, you're not going to go wrong with Chris Sabin in an X Division style match, and Ace Austin, who's been an X Division mainstay here lately. Great match. Eric Young and Joe Dorian against Heath and Rhino. Again, a little short for my like. I didn't like the only 1 8 minutes. I mean, if you're gonna have these guys beating the shit out of each other, it's gonna be a short, encounter. The one that surprised me, I was bummed that we didn't get to see Brian Myers. I don't know if he got hurt prior to the pay-per-view, but we did get Rich Swann against VSK and Zicky Dice, who was a guest on One-on-One last year. Got to see him do his thing on Impact Wrestling. That was cool. The former Big Cass, W. Morrissey, and Matt Cardona just beat the crap out of each other. Just an unbelievable bludgeoning almost, pretty much. Our girls, The Inspiration, Cassie Lee and Jesse, retain the Knockouts tag titles. Trey Miguel retains the X Division title. Mickey James, in a surprise for me anyway, retains the Knockouts title over Mercedes Martinez, but then we get the reemergence of Deonna Purrazzo, who's just been biding her time since Bound for Glory. That was too cool to see her come back and really assert herself as, hey, I'm getting my title shot, and she will get the shot at Hard to Kill coming up on January 8th, and we're going to cover that here on the network, so stay tuned for that watch-along reactions. Good Brothers retain their titles. Moose retains his title. Good Brothers, of course, defeat the Bullet Club, Chris Bay and Hikalu. I'm saying again, the name pronunciation is terrible. But God, Moose and Eddie go 31 minutes, which is basically a TLC match. They call it Full Metal Mayhem, but it was a pinfall in their version of TLC. So just and Josh, I appreciate that opinion. I gotta tell you, man, you gotta find a way to watch it on Thursday nights. I know there's a lot of shit to watch on Thursday nights. Thursday night 8:00 is a prime time spot. Always has been for NBC over the last couple decades, but make it a point to watch Impact. It's a great. They got great in-ring wrestling action. The gimmicks aren't as bad as they were after the Hogan era kind of fizzled out, but I like Impact Wrestling. I make it a point to watch the show when I can. So just gotta do what you gotta do. Let me just see what we got here. I missed a whole bunch of comments. Josh is there, and Don says, "Good evening, young Mr." Well, thank you. Walter says, "What's up, Jeff?" Thank you, Walter. Matt Helen, hello, Jeff. How are you doing today? Thomas says, "Welcome back, Jeff. I missed when you did interviews with some of the wrestlers and just talked like you're doing." We are going to have interviews on the Jeff Meacham Network again. We actually have one Wednesday night. It was going to be Friday night, but we had to juggle the schedule a bit because of Greg's inavailability to do the Rick Jerry show Wednesday. We're going to announce the interview right before we do Ask Me Anything. So stay tuned for that announcement coming up, Thomas. The background, again, I love Staples. I do love Staples. And it's the dumbest name ever, Walter. No question about it. Survivor Series was great. It was, and I'll go ahead and get to Survivor Series now that I am at that point, because it was really, again, it was one of the worst built pay-per-views in the history of WWE. I can't stress that enough. It was a horribly built show. Josh, I appreciate being an influencer for Impact Wrestling. If you're watching Don Callis, if you're watching Scott D'Amore, you know where to find me. Scott D'Amore, you and I go back to 2004, brother. Coach D'Amore. Coach Scott, man. I miss that guy. Great guy. Anyway, so Survivor Series, again, horrible build. Just flipping awful. But it surprised me. It was a great little pay-per-view they put on there over in Brooklyn. And we're going to talk about Brooklyn here in the next segment. So be on the lookout for that coming up after the first little little bumper break I do. But Nakamura and Priest on the pre-show, I'm not a fan of this Damian Priest losing his damn mind every segment gimmick, and destroying a guitar is just horrible, especially in the other business I do. As far as helping out with Paradise Kitty. So it's just, it was very, very stupid for me to see. Becky and Charlotte had a hell of a match. If the beef is real, man, I believe it, because they beat the shit out of each other. Just an incredible fight between the two top women in the company. And Becky out-cheats Charlotte to win, and we've got both women still on top of their respective mountains on their respective shows. The men's Survivor Series match goes 30, which was so good. Team Raw, of course, defeats Team SmackDown. Omos wins the Rock's Battle Royal. You've got RK Bro defeating the Usos, which did surprise me. I'm not going to lie. I figured they would have a bloodline clean sweep with Roman defeating Big E later, and a great match also. I'll tell you what, we were talking about this during the watch along of Survivor Series. Big E is a made man at this point. He did lose, which, it happens, right? But Roman put Big E over in that loss. Big E looked like $1 million. An incredible performance by both men, both world champions. Just Roman was dominant, but he didn't over-dominate Big E. Big E looked very, very strong in the loss. It could have gone either way in the eyes of a lot of people. We all know Roman's not going to lose at this point, at this stage of his current character development, right? But Big E made us a believer that it actually could be a thing. So that's the idea at these type of matches at Survivor Series. You want to believe that the guy that will never have a friggin' chance actually does, and he did. People believed. As far as the best pay-per-view, I'm actually going to give WWE a lot of credit here. I'm not going to say they're the best of the three, because I still say AEW had the best showing of the three pay-per-views, but WWE was definitely the most surprising, because the way it was built, even as good as it looked on paper, it had the potential to colossally fall on its ass, and it didn't at all. Survivor Series over-delivered, considering the build it had. I thought it was a great pay-per-view by WWE. I liked Impact's pay-per-view also. So the question on the banner was, who had the great pay-per-view? I will say AEW, but it was definitely a neck and neck battle all the way to the very end. So great job by all three companies on pay-per-view in November. I do look forward to doing the watch-alongs of the NWA's pay-per-view, Hard Times 2, and War Games on Sunday. I don't know if I'm actually going to be on camera, because I will be at my sister's house over the weekend, helping her celebrate Hanukkah. So it may be just be me in the control room commenting along when I can, but you will see Noah. And hopefully we'll have Casey back, and we'll have Big James back, and hopefully we'll get as many people as we can in the studio to help out with all that going on. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and take a brief little break here. So let me go ahead and I don't have that queued up. Well, that sucks. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and run the commercial. We'll be right back here on Talk Wrestling after this brief announcement regarding our friends at Paradise Kitty.
Take me down to the Paradise City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. Whoa, we shine the light.
There you go, our buddies at Paradise Kitty. If you've been watching me a long time, you know about Jenna, of course, lead singer of Rue back in the day that did our theme song on XMV, and the one for the Great Cherry Show for a while. Actually, not the Great Cherry Show. Wrestling Mind, excuse me. But there you go. They'll be at up in Vegas on the 17th of December for our buddy the Count, Danny's club, Vamped, out there in Las Vegas. That'll be coming up on the 17th, and then they're back home Christmas week, the 22nd, Wednesday night, at the infamous Whiskey A Go Go, and Santa Claus, I understand, it will be at the Whiskey as well. So there you go. Going to be a cool time out at out on the Sunset Strip. All right, so we talked about Survivor Series, which did take place at the Barclays Center, and Raw also was at the Barclays Center the next night out in Brooklyn, New York, and yeah, okay, so I don't know what's happening when the WWE goes back to New York, especially the Barclays Center, but this is the second time in recent memory, of course, the infamous attack on Bret the Hitman Hart during the Hart Foundation induction back in 20, I think that was 19, if I remember right. He gets tackled by a fan out of the crowd, and then this knucklehead comes out of, it looked like he came out of the back. Like the way this guy came out and attacked Rollins, it looked like he came out of the curtain, which was very bizarre. But this is the second time this has happened on live television for WWE at the Barclays Center. I want to know who's in charge of coordinating WWE security in this venue and fire this person immediately. Holy moly. And again, this happens a lot. We see people attack talent, quite a bit, unfortunately, at all wrestling shows because, some fan gets a wild hair up their butt and thinks they can be a tough guy or a tough gal or whatever, and they go on the attack. And it's ridiculous that it happens as frequently as it still does in 2021. I get back in the day, in the early days of wrestling, when it was, a regional business, and I'm gonna try the local guy there at at the Mid-South Coliseum or, the Greensboro Coliseum or whatever the case may be down there, or even here in LA at the Olympic. It was just, it's so funny to me that this happens at WWE's backyard, where you think they would have more security around their people, because not to be, stereotyping or whatever, but New York is a rough city. It's like LA, they're called urban communities for a reason, because they've got a lot of rough and tough clientele that run both coasts, and it's not out of the realm of possibility that shit like this can happen. And the fact that WWE isn't beefing up security, or at least coordinating better in the first place when they go into Barclays, the Garden, Staples Center, the Honda Center down in Anaheim, things like that, it boggles my mind that this doesn't happen, that this does happen on a frequent basis as it does. I don't know what you guys think out there. If you've been to an event that isn't in New York or the LA area and you've seen it happen, and then I just don't know what's happening with I don't understand why that's a thing. But anyway, excuse me. Got a little water, a little dehydrated there. Talking so damn much for 20 straight minutes. So again, I agree with you. Some fans ruin everything. AEW in Miami, Brooklyn, WWE, and that one dot. Yeah, and again, you talk about the things happening at Dodger Stadium. If you were a Dodgers fan and you go to a game against the Giants or a game against a division rival, it's just ridiculous that fans can't just be fans and enjoy watching the baseball game, listening to a concert, watching a WWE or wrestling event, just enjoying what they're watching. People have to, make themselves part of the show. My dad and I went to a concert before the cruise out in way out in the freaking boonies. We were for effing ever driving out to Irvine, deep in the OC, and there was a very vocal anti current establishment group chanting against the current president of the United States, just very boisterously and with great vigor and passion. And that thing, it's kind of like encouraged by a lot of artists. And I think that's sad too, for what it's worth. Whatever side of the coin you vote on, whatever the case may have been back in November of 2020. The fact is, I don't go to a Jason Aldean concert or a WWE show or a Dodgers game to make myself part of the presentation. I go to enjoy what's being presented to me as a fan, as a ticket buyer, as a consumer. I'm not a participant. I don't need to be a participant. So it's just so damn ridiculous that it has to be a thing. So it was just ridiculous that it happens all the time. Yeah, fans are just nuts sometimes, you know. Definitely, you know, that's again, those are definitely heavy duty on levels. Walter said, I don't condone it, but the one where the fan ran in front of Batista and sit the entrance, I cracked up. Bit, don't be stupid and attack wrestlers. We went a year without being able to be me. Exactly. You know, WWE fought long and really fought hard and thought long on the idea of letting the people back in the building, because however synthetic the presentation was as far as the Thunderdome and the crowds not being there, there's nobody going to run in out of the crowd and be a dipshit, right? You've got the people that work for the company there. That's it. So you're not going to have some mysterious run-in from Joe Blow from Kokomo. Just it's, and again, you know, when AEW started letting the crowds filter in, you know, in pockets, you know, again, that wasn't happening. It did happen in Miami. It definitely happened there, but for the most part, it didn't happen. So again, you know, where does WWE draw the line? Where does wrestling draw the line? Where does sports entertainment period draw the line as far as, okay, we're in a pandemic, but we want our live crowds back. You know, again, it's a great quote here. Too much politics in everything, pretty much, Chris. Everything, you know, everything becomes political. Everything becomes a conversation about what the establishment is or is not doing. So that's what it ultimately comes down to, and that's not what it should be, but it is what happens. Everyone in Hollywood just needs to go back and watch Ricky Gervais's. You know, I'm usually not a Ricky Gervais fan, but I agree with what you just said, Josh, 100%. I actually don't like Ricky Gervais very much at all, but I thought that speech was spot on. Absolutely. You know, Joe, I thought that too. And the reason I say that is because, like I said, it looked like he came out from the curtain, which was really weird. I don't have a gif of it. I don't want to get WWE on my ass, you know, shutting myself or Aaron down. But it was very interesting that it looked like when you see the one angle, it looked like he emerged from the back of the curtain, which is like, how would a fan get back there? Either one of two things. It's real. It's a work, like you said. Again, wrestling's real. You know, I still got to buy that shirt. I intended to buy that for me for Christmas, but I got bills to pay and stuff to pay for in the coming years. So maybe for my birthday in March, we'll see how that goes. But thank you for the reference, Josh. I do appreciate that. I know Greg appreciates it too. We're getting the plug on the Jeff Meacham Network and NoDQ.com. So thank you, sir. They definitely replace security across the board in all forms of sports entertainment, without question. There needs to be a crackdown. But yeah, the whole thing with Rollins at Barclays, it seemed at first like it was a work, but then you go back and you see this guy's Instagram's posts and his Instagram stories and his history, and the dude's got mental issues. He's got some serious problems, and on top of that, he got catfish, which is a horrible thing. I see it all the time. I have a lot of friends that are in the entertainment industry that, you know, have their fans get catfished by fake accounts. No joke, hand to God. I have friends that work for used to work for the Kings, or do still work for the Kings, or for the Vegas Golden Knights hockey team as cheerleaders. I've had 3 different people from the two teams that are friends of mine on those cheer squads try to follow me on Instagram under catfish accounts, and I go, you know, I talk to these people on the daily, so thanks a lot. You're an idiot. Thanks for sharing. It's just so ridiculous. You know, they either get the catfish accounts or you get the accounts that look like they could be legit things, and they go to some random dummy OnlyFans-ish accounts. Like, God, people just have nothing better to effing do than you know, exploit the dipshits of the world. So let's see. Walter says, sports wrestling concerts is our escape from the BS, and we should sit and enjoy and leave the politics. Yes. I agree, Walter. Side note, he could have had a seat by the Titantron and ran over and turned the. I thought that too, because at least when I used to go back in the mid 2000s, the setup at Honda Center, especially, a lot of room to kind of, if you got the athletic ability, which I didn't see the guy, close enough to get a read on his physical condition, but very easy to hop over that rail, just whoop, right over there. So stranger things. So it very well could have been the case. Good point, Walter, and Joe concurs with you. So there you go. All right, I bitched about WWE and security in general for the last few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and run my next little ad here. I know I'm doing a lot of plugs today. I didn't do plugs before. I promised I'm going to do that, but I do got to get my shit in, pal. So here's what's coming up next month, December, on the Jeff Meacham Network, and of course on NoDQ.com and across our affiliates. And I noticed that, of course, at the start of the commercial, I already have a correction to make because I forgot to edit that out of the trailer. The Sarah Previous interview will now be on Wednesday in the Greg Cherry Show time slot because of Greg's scheduling conflict. So that'll be Wednesday, which means I have to edit it tonight. Lucky me. But I recorded that a couple weeks ago with Sarah, a good friend of the Greg Cherry brand and the Jeff Meacham Network. She does the voiceovers for WTC. We love Sarah. She was actually part of Greg Cherry's big championship celebration and helped introduce Greg's wife to bring in the championship belt that we had made for him. So we love Sarah, and I'm happy to have her back on the channel. And yes, Josh, indeed, the Greg Cherry Show will be Friday this week, in the usual 7:00 Eastern, 4 Pacific. I will not be on the Greg Cherry Show this week. I will be, at 7:00 Eastern. I will be deep into the Inland Empire on my way to my sister's house to start the Hanukkah celebration. So there, I know Hanukkah's already going on right now, but we're going at the end of it. So there you go. Let's see. Sorry, when I hear that song, all I think of is Ding Fries. Done for Fry my guy. Yes. And then Billy, hopefully it was a work. Rollins catfishing a chubby kid is awesome storyline. Yeah, that's that sucks. I like your edits in the ads. Well, thank you, MCM. I appreciate that. I do try to work very hard on making those edits and those graphics look pretty up to par, being on NoDQ.com as long as the NoDQ has been around. So I definitely try to do my best to make them look professional like. All right, so the big announcement that I have, we have our first guest lined up for One-on-One with Jeff Meacham coming up in January, actually on January 2nd, and it'll be at I forgot the freaking time already because I'm so tired. Let me just throw it up there right now. Her name is Amber Joe. She's a wrestler out of the UK. So we'll be going at 8 p.m. British Standard Time, which is noon here for me on the West Coast, and 3 o'clock for you East Coast kids here in the United States. But Amber Joe will begin 2022 going one-on-one with yours truly coming up the day after New Year's. And of course, you saw the end of that trailer. We're having our big anniversary show, 2 years. The Jeff Meacham Network being a thing. And yes, I will have a bottle of a little bit of the bubbly. So there you go. That'll be part of the present, which is why I said during Aaron's chat, I'll be freshly tanked off a little bit of the bubbly during day one for WWE. So there you go. I love Carol the Bells. Still got the tenor part stuck in my head from high school. I was very lucky to not have to not have the talent whatsoever to be in the choir or in the band in junior high or high school. So escape that route. I was a jock in the worst sense. I wasn't actually a jock. I just played football to get out of PE, to be honest with you. And because of our cowboy football tradition out here in Canyon Country. So, yes, the bubbly. Yes. All right. So, with that being said, the plugs are done. Everything's ready to go. We got it about, I'll give another half hour or so. We'll see how things go. But it is time, kids, for Ask Meach Anything. So throw the questions up there. I'll go back and get the questions I missed earlier because of me plugging and everything I was doing. Let me go ahead and I did see JJ's question, so I'll go ahead and throw it up there. What did I think of the Edge Miz promo segment referencing Joe Morrison and the MJF Punk promo? I did not see all of Raw, but I did make it a point to watch that segment in a clip because I kept hearing good things, and it was really, really good. Again, Jay, you and I both go back to being long-term misfits. You longer than me, although I knew Mike Mizanin before he officially joined WWE, so I can kind of claim a little bit on that part of it for you. Over you, I should say. But I love that Miz is back. I love Maurice is back. I love that they blamed his Dancing with the Stars folly on the WWE fans, which is so great as a heel. You want to be that dick when you come back because he's the Miz and he's awesome. And I love that they're having him and Edge interact because they had a little bit of a tease on that, talking about Miz stealing the era of awesomeness from the rated R superstar King Edge the Awesome. So there you go. Hopefully we'll get a great match out of him. Probably a day one is what I think where it will be. But anytime you get Edge on Monday Night Raw on the flagship, I'm good with it. Anytime you get Miz and Edge, or Edge and anybody in a promo battle is good. Miz and anybody in a promo battle is good. The two of them together is gold. It's magic. It's money for me. Joey said earlier, Full Gear is a great review. I watched it at Harkins Theater in Cerritos. Oh, cool. Well, there you go. Very, very cool. Let's see what we got here. Josh says, will Danielson's heel turn be as good as the Planet's champion? He actually said in social media recently that he loved that run better than doing the yes chant. So, honestly, I would love to see that eclipse the Planet's champion because I enjoyed that run with Brian too. But I really just want to see the American Dragon just kick the shit out of people. That's what I want to see. That's what I want. Chris says, I love your channel. Happy that Seth Rollins won tonight. I was rewatching his run with the title. The booking was bad 2015 and 2019 with the new Seth Rollins is way better now. Again, his title run was cut short, unfortunately, by the injury over in overseas. But I think he was remember, he was a victim of a lot of unfortunate stuff. He got hurt, and prior to that, he injured Sting, and they didn't have the long-term program. Who knows how far he could have gone. I liked the fact that they gave him the championship. It swerved everybody. It's still the greatest Money in the Bank cash-in history because it was a WrestleMania. So I love that. Let's see. That was another question. Sorry, but I do agree about Rock. She should have been there, at least something. Let's see. I think I got the questions that I missed, and if I didn't get to your question just now, go ahead and throw it up there. Let me go ahead and let's see. MCW Network says, what would you grade the runs of the AEW World Champions so far? I mean, it's hard to argue with any of them being below an A- at the very least. Jericho was a great first champion. Moxley had a good little run with it. Omega was, again, people crap on Omega's run as champion because he relied a lot on the elite and everything. I loved it. I thought it was great. And Hangman Page is still to be determined. But if the run is as good as the build, Hangman Page will be the greatest AEW champion in history because that was a great way to get there. What is a good limit of women's roster for women's tag team champions for AEW? Again, I don't see the need to do that for a long time. I honestly think a secondary title for them is pushing it for now. They do have a decent roster, but it's not very, very deep. I don't see even that for a secondary title, let alone the tag titles. Just one man's opinion. Do I think the promo will lead to Edge and Beth versus Miz and Maurice? That would be great. I know they like to have Miz and Maurice do the mixed tag thing at WrestleMania, right, John? But Beth's always in game shape. And I say, why not? Beth has a thing to promote right now. She has a, I don't know if it was a single or a full album that she put out recently that she was announcing on social media. So, hey, if there's something to promote, get her on the tube and unleash the Glamazon and the Rated R Superstar together at WrestleMania. I'm all about it, especially in front of 100,000 people. That'd be awesome to see. Awesome. Like what I did there. Let's see. Jesus, who wins between MJF and CM Punk? The fans. I mean, really. That's a cop-out answer, but I'm going to take it and run. What about the news of Bray Wyatt signing with that name, even though he is not with WWE? Again, I don't think WWE will really shit on them too much in the movie business using the name Bray Wyatt. If he tries to work for AEW or Impact or NWA, they'll definitely put the kibosh on it. But you have to remember, if Wyndham Rotunda uses the Bray Wyatt name, that harkens them to WWE, which makes them think of WWE. So WWE wins there. Unfortunately for Bray or for Wyndham, WWE wins if they use that name outside of wrestling. So there you go. Walter says, I see a mixed tag match on Raw and one on day one for Miz and Edge. Also, how far up the card do you see Jay Lethal getting? Hope they treat him right. Okay, so as far as the mixed tag match, I definitely that should be a showcase match, not just on a random Raw or whatever. That should be on a pay-per-view. I even agree with JJ being at WrestleMania because you've got, a Hall of Fame couple in Edge and Beth Phoenix, and you've got a future Hall of Famer in The Miz. I dare say a Hall of Fame future for Maurice too. So you've got a great pairing of two classic wrestling couples. Put it on Mania. Let freaking Miz and Maurice win one at Mania, for crying out loud. They couldn't beat John and Nikki because of bullshit, but I'm not going there tonight. What cuts do I see coming next? Sorry, sour subject. I see Apollo Crews being cut next, and the Hurt Business, sad to say. Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that Cedric wasn't already cut. I'm not shitting on Cedric. I like Cedric Alexander. I always have. He doesn't fit. I'm very surprised Ricochet has a job. They perpetually crap on him in the no DQ streams, but man, they have done nothing with that guy at all in his entire main roster run. Like that brief thing with AJ was all he's ever had, and that's been what, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it's been. Ridiculous. Again, Shelton and Cedric, the fact that they brought them back as the Hurt Business again, but didn't directly pair them with Bobby is questionable. So we'll see. Apollo, I definitely see Apollo being in danger along with Commander Aziz, whatever the hell the guy's name is. I just don't see any future for that gimmick. Now that they've taken the title away from him and basically made him a 24/7 contender. Okay, kind of lame. Let's see. Is there anything that would get you to change your tune on Riddle? Lordy. Drop the bullshit. Get serious. Emphasize your MMA background, not your stoner background. You don't need to be Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam is already Rob Van Dam. You don't need to be, fill in your stoner gimmick here. You don't need to be Cheech and Chong. You don't need to be, just laid back, cool dude talking about, no. Get in there, kick people's freaking heads in. Be a MMA fighter like you are, for real. That's about it. Or if he just kicks Goldberg's bloody head off, that'd be all right too. Let's see here. Josh, how sad do you think Greg will be on Friday when we talk about both his and my football? Wow. Josh, football's been rough. Like, I'm going to briefly, sorry, Aaron, I know I'm on your channel still, but the NFL has been the season of wackiness. As much as we shit on the NFC East last year as being the shit show of professional sports, the entire NFL is the wild world of wacky sports here. Like it's been one crazy game after another for like 3-4 weeks. You can't predict anything that's going to happen on Sunday nights, Thursday nights, or Monday nights. It's completely batshit. So I don't foresee it changing anytime soon. We're getting into the stretch here, so it will be sad, I'm sure, because those games should not have gone the way they went at all, nor should have our game on Thursday night. Holy they freaking Cowboys. So we'll see how it plays out, but it'll if I get a chance to watch, I will definitely comment along during that segment of the show. So thank you for letting me know, Josh. I was surprised to see Big G on the panel last night at that domination Who Day. Yeah, it was a rough day for the Steelers, to be sure. But we had a great time talking about The Rock. I did toward the end kind of overdo it with the graphic. I was very busy. I look back on that part of the show. I overdid it on the graphics, so I do apologize for all the busy. You saw the December graphic during that trailer. We are going to cover The Rock in May. It's his 50th birthday in 2022. So it's going to be a cool month. JJ's going to do movie reviews of his movies. We're going to cover his matches on Dads, his movies on Dads. So we're definitely going to get more into the great one coming up in May of 2022. What ended the women's evolution? I think it was Becky comeback and title swap. I honestly think the WWE women's revolution, evolution, whatever you want to call it, was not following up on the Evolution pay-per-view with another one. And I know that's seemingly a cop-out, perhaps, but the fact that they had a great pay-per-view and they didn't do a sequel, a great concept, and you have to remember something. They had an unbelievable peak epic moment at WrestleMania in 2019 when they main evented, and Ronda was part of that. And the pin was controversial. And then Ronda was gone. And has only been on one piece of WWE programming since, and that was a video game segment thing on the network or on YouTube, whatever the hell it was. So the person that really got the women's, and again, no disrespect to Charlotte, to Becky, to Sasha, to Bayley, to anybody on that roster at that time, but the fact is Ronda Rousey's name power, her star power, got the women's division into the last match of the night at WrestleMania, which had never happened before. Okay. And the fact that she was gone after that match says everything about how important she was and how much that name carried the women's evolution into 2018 and 2019. Think of it this, I've said this ad nauseum every time I talk about Ronda Rousey. I looked at Aaron, who was to my right at Staples Center, in this building right here behind me, and said to him when Charlotte completely beat the crap out of her with that kendo stick at Survivor Series, and the LA-based crowd, Ronda's hometown, booed her out of their own building. I looked at her and I said, she is done after Mania. You watch. And she has not come back. And she won't come back, I don't think. I really don't think she will at this point. The moment the moment is has passed for her to come back at this point. James says, just a quick hello, Jam. Past my bedtime here on the East Coast, but oldest son is up sick. Oh, bummer, brother. Dad duty never ends. You're a good man. Appreciate your vid. Twitter earlier. Meacham Mania for life, dude. I felt so sad this morning in the afternoon when I cut that video, and I still am dealing with it right now. But I wanted to do my show today, so I did. But I appreciate that, James. And yeah, dad duty is no joke, man. And put it this way. My poor kiddo came, we went to Disney, he got sick, I got sick. That's why I didn't do any shows. I was non-verbal sick. It was so bad. I felt like such garbage. I trudged through Mikey's show and the Greg Cherry show last week, and it was just a hot mess. So I didn't want to, impose my crap on anybody else for the rest of the week. So there you go. I'd like to see MJF hand Punk his first loss. I'd be okay with that. I really would. Who is going to beat Roman for the Universal Championship, or who do I want to beat Roman? I honestly don't know, MC. I personally, as a fan, I would have wanted it to be John just to stick in everybody's craw, personally. but I don't know if I want anybody to do it now. I mean, who's left? Drew, Jeff Hardy, Sami Zayn, Lesnar, Goldberg. I really don't want anybody that's in the public thought process to do it at this point. So hard to say. Day one, Jose says day one, Miz versus Edge and Royal Rumble, Miz and Maurice versus Edge and Beth, and lead to another one-on-one TLC. Oh, I like that booking. That's actually pretty good, Jose. Get the mixed tag in at the Rumble, and then you get a TLC. Thing is, Edge and TLC is dangerous for Edge. I know he's back at full capacity, so he says, so they say. But I don't know putting him in a TLC match, because when you put Adam Copeland in a TLC match at WrestleMania, he's gonna go balls out. He's just gonna do it. So I don't know if it's a safe idea. Just my own thought process, my own personal opinion, but it's my show, so of course it's my opinion. The fact that they never made Ricochet and Aleister Black tag champions on the main roster is the biggest missed opportunity in the tag division in the past few years. Yeah, they win the Dusty Classic. I don't think they won the NXT tag team titles after that, which is also bullshit. I think, I could be wrong, they challenged for all three brands tag titles in the course of that week and came up short, I think, across the board. That told me right away they had no designs on either of those guys. And now you got, Alistair and or Malachi Black in AEW and Ricochet floundering like a damn dead fish on the deck. Just terrible. All right, I got more comments. Just kidding. Is Malachi Black already getting lost on the shuffle? Yep, absolutely. Super Bowl is Bucks Patriots. Book it. Wouldn't surprise me. Not a bit. Titans lose it. Tennessee's on such a roll and they lose to freaking Houston. Oof. Like I said, the Great Sherry Show, Savoy Sports Bar is going to be fun tomorrow too. Again, I won't be part of that in all likelihood. I'm not sure how the schedule is going to work out. I have a dental appointment across town at the same time, so it's going to be fun to coordinate that, but we'll see how it plays out. We'll keep you guys posted on our social media how that's going to make it happen. What's up with Orton getting the Goldberg treatment with the wig? Also, why is Vince showing himself so much all of a sudden? Thought he said he was too old to be on TV. Tonight was interesting. I'm not sure why we saw a lot of Vince last couple of weeks. Hopefully we get a means to an end on that. As far as Orton and the wig, I don't think Riddle putting the wig on Orton is nearly as career botching as it was with Goldust and Bill Goldberg. Just saying, guys, gotta keep things in perspective. Randy Orton is the legend killer, but he's not a unstoppable, undefeated force like Goldberg was. And then he's wearing Goldust wig week 2. That was horrible planning. I'm not sorry for getting football talk on no DQ. It's Ask Me anything. That's right. So we need a virtue. I'm not even getting that virtue Tito bullshit. I'm just not even getting up in that mess. That is a mess. Joey says my Rams haven't won a game in November. Yeah, exactly. Hey Jeff, go Raiders. Yeah, no. You made me say it on the air. Congratulations, Joey. Seems like Vince loves Austin Theory. Wouldn't be surprised if Theory takes the title from Priest. That would be a great booking. I would like to see Austin Theory be U.S. champion. I'm all about that. Jose says the women's tag treatment has devalued the women's division too. Absolutely. We just need WWE to unify all the world, women's, and both gender tag titles. Absolutely. Consolidate the rosters. Not consolidate the rosters, but go back to the original brand extension thing. One champion, world champion for both shows, women's champion across both shows, tag championship, and just have it be where people on either Raw or SmackDown have to earn their opportunity at their respective world titles. Impact question: what big matches do you want to see from Moose? I got to get more into the product to really give a better answer on that. I mean, I'd like to see Moose face everybody. I love Moose. I've been so impressed with Moose since he became world champion. So anybody and everybody, my friend. Spider-Man, dude, I was on the freaking ticket thing at like 2 a.m. and I got dinner light tickets for the 17th. I'm so happy. It's gonna be cool. Did not watch Raw tonight. I'm watching old Raw and Peacock from 2020. I halted the binge because my friend I'm watching is out of town, but I'm watching Ruthless Aggression Era. We just finished the Insurrection 2002 pay-per-view, the last ever WWF show for you trivia buffs out there. All right. That's going to do it for real. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you all so very much for being here for a full hour almost. I do appreciate it. Again, we got a lot of things coming up this week. We've got Stat Boy Sports Bar tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern. Again, I might not be part of that. I hopefully will be home in time to do this show, which is at 7 o'clock my time. Full predictions for War Games. Greg Cherry show is on Friday. Ignore that at the bottom. It's Friday. Friday. This show is on Wednesday. Oh, I think I have that down here. Yeah, there it is. There we go. So there's that. The No DQ review is on Thursday. It'll be the first time we are simulcasting the No DQ review as a full-time thing here on the Jeff Meacham Network. So stay tuned on both these channels for that show. And then again, Sarah on Friday, Hard Times 2 watch along reactions on Saturday, War Games on Sunday, and then later on in the month, we've got the end of an era for Ring of Honor, our watch along of that. Lots of Dad's episodes coming up in December, the premiere of Open Mic Night on Sunday, December 12th, and so much more. Thank you guys again. I really appreciate everybody sticking along with me the entire hour. Love y'all very much. A good start for Attitude Era, honestly, is Survivor Series 96. And if you want to know why, hit me up on Messenger. Thank you guys. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow for Sapway Sports Bar and everything else coming up this week on Jeff Meacham Network. Have a great night.